So I have been a lifelong student of personal self-development and in spirituality. I have always been eager to learn more. I was always somebody who wanted to know why. And I can remember when I was little, when something didn't make sense to me, I wasn't somebody who just wanted to accept how it was and following how a lot of other people are doing things. But I had this urge to understand why. And then if it didn't make sense to me, I wanted to find a different way. So, in transformation and personal development and growth, and also to become the creator, a conscious manifestation, creator of your own life circumstance, there's one piece of information that I learned later on that I wish I learned earlier, that changed completely. The way that I see things changed completely, and that gave me a boost and acceleration in a way that I am doing things. And that one piece of sentence is you do not need to change who you are, but you only need to change how you see yourself as. So in this video, I want to dissect this one sentence for you to understand. You might be falling in trap of this trying to change you, because I was there for a long time. And when you started to understand that micro shift, that you actually don't need to try to change you at all, but you only need to change how you see yourself as, then everything starts speeding up, growing, and changing literally. So let's go slowly and little by little. What do I mean when I say you do not need to change who you are? Now, let's say if you have a result and outcome and life circumstance that you want to see change. You want more of something, you want different in some situation. And we all know that the outside is a reflection of our inside. And we are the product of the past, present experience. We carry out those memories and we sort of repeat the same thing over and over because the strongest addiction is the familiar self. A neuroscientist called Antonio Damasio even used the term autobiographical self, right? The path that you have been living is embedded in your psycho emotion as a memory, and you behave the way you have been because it feels unfamiliar. Regardless of the fact that you know that that's serving you or not serving you, there is a tendency in repeating the familiar self. We are addicted to, we are really married to that version of us. And let's say if you have a part of you that wants to change. Let's say, if you have a tendency of frustrating, if you have a tendency of getting overwhelmed, if you have a tendency of focusing on negativity or feeling anxious about doubt and worry, not believing you, doubting yourself or doubting your belief, right? Or believing in your doubt, right? All those things. We have all the different elements that we want to see change. And the moment, this is a little bit tricky, so I'm gonna go slow. The moment you identify yourself as somebody who is frustrated often and wants to change, that is actually how you're seeing, how you're choosing to see yourself as. Even though that has been the tendency from past to present, if you see yourself, if you feel like you want to change yourself, that's part of you that tends to frustrate a lot, you're actually choosing yourself that you are that person. What's interesting and what's most important is that no matter how you have been behaving from past to present, in this very moment, you can become somebody else when you choose to see, if you choose to see so, and if you choose to demonstrate so. So, past, present, you actually wanna graduate and move away from, and then in this moment, you wanna begin choosing to see yourself in a completely different lens. Yeah. So what that really means is that let's use frustration because we're talking about that, right? let's say if you have a tendency to be frustrated, overwhelmed, and you're seeking peace of mind or calmness or happiness, all that, right? And then you see yourself as a frustrating person and you want to change that. But if you see yourself as a frustrated person, you will continue to focus on the fact that you're frustrated, right? So you only need to identify the past, present self one time, and then you write it down. Okay, you have been that person. I don't like that because it's not serving me. I want to become somebody else. So the version of you that you have been demonstrating from past to present is, let's say, I am frustrating. I have a tendency to frustrating, right? That might be that identity, the image of you that you're holding in your mind. Now, then you don't want that, right? And once you identify one time, now what you want to do is to begin creating the opposite of it. What is the version of you that has zero frustration? What is the version of you that has zero frustration? And then we don't want to use the negative term by saying, I am not a frustrating person, because your body subconscious cannot hear that term now. So the opposite of that is the ideal version of you, the absence of frustration, what you would be experiencing. You're constantly in a state of ease and peace and fully connected to the stillness inside. I am the product of stillness. I am the product of stillness. And begin constructing and nurturing and cultivating that image of that identity called stillness. And you picture yourself, how would you be living if you are demonstrating the stillness identity? The stillness identity. I'm going here, I'm still. You can even rehearse your day-to-day life, weekly life that you're familiar with, and how you would be showing up differently when you are demonstrating the identity of stillness. And you repeat that over and over in your mental picture to transmute that feeling of the stillness in your whole body. And then when you begin convincing your subconscious mind, I did the video on the other day about subconscious conviction, but when you begin letting the entire body to feel stillness, and when that overrides your tendency that you have been, and when that becomes hyper and supernatural, now you're moving into the stillness identity. So can you see what I did here? You are not trying to change the person that you thought you are. You identify that one time. But the change doesn't happen by trying to change that past, present, old identity. But by recognizing that that was the past, present product, and then choosing to become somebody else and see yourself as stillness person from this moment forward. Yeah, because if you try to change the past, present self, and when you focus on that in the present moment, you are actually choosing to see that right now you are that person. But then when you transcend and override that historical self, and then when you begin choosing to see as somebody completely new right at this moment, from this moment forward, you can begin creating a different kind of history. Does that make sense? If you get puzzled with what I said, I want you to watch this video a couple of times, because you don't need to change who you are to become somebody else to produce the result differently. You only need to choose to see yourself in this present moment differently. And when you become consistent with choosing to see you as a new version from this moment forward, that becomes the historical document that you're going to be creating from this moment forward. And then the outside result will be reflecting how you're constructing your new identity. So you don't need to change who you are, but you only need to change how you choose to see yourself as from this moment forward. I hope that helpful. I'll see you in the next video.